This episode of the Boss Rush Podcast is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support our family of podcasts, head over to patreon.com/bossrushmedia or search for us on the Patreon app on your smart device. Thanks for helping us build something better. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Boss Rush Podcast, a great place to play games and be better. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Deerigan. Alongside me, as always, is the PC Muscle Race himself, LeRon Dawkins.
What's poppin'?
Hi, LeRon.
Hey, Corey.
You're wearing sleeves again.
I know. I'm wearing long ass sleeves.
I know you are disappointing our very minimal female audience here. Okay.
You know. If you want, I'll go ahead and make it happen for the fans. I'll go ahead and make it happen. You know, as a matter of fact, while you introduce like our other co-hosts, I will do that. I'll be right back.
He's turned his camera off. That's even worse. So Stephanie is out tonight because spoilers. We've been recording a lot of things all week because the team is preparing to go to PAX East, which will probably have happened by the time this episode airs. But filling in for Stephanie is the one and only Celeste Roberts.
Oh, I think there are a few Celeste Roberts, actually. I've
Nope.
Totally looked
You're the only
up.
one.
Oh, thank you.
You're the only one. I totally didn't email the wrong Celeste the first time I ever emailed you about something. It's cool.
Thank you for having me.
Apparently, your email address, if you forget to put the one of your letters in, it emails somebody else. So, whoops. I almost said your email address on the show, and I was like, that's probably not a good idea. That's fine.
Yeah, you would have had to do some post edit bleeping.
I know, and we all know how much I don't edit the shows.
Exactly.
But we have another very special guest. She's a YouTuber. She's a podcaster. She's from the Great White North and moving to the Great Down South. Please welcome everybody. Our guest, Vex Electronica. Welcome to the show.
Hiyo.
Very excited to have you. This is exciting.
I'm just wondering how you
All right.
found me, in all honesty. Is it just the random
So-
tweeting I do?
I mean, no, actually, I think I found you because we had you interviewed Kara
Mhm.
a while ago, and we also had her on the show.
I saw
And
that, yes.
I saw your interview with her, and she said that you would be a great podcast guest. So I said, okay, why not?
Aw,
We're always
I
looking
gotta
for new.
thank her now.
Yeah, we're always looking for new people to hang out with and talk about stuff with. And
For real.
you know, I think just to shout out a couple of your things that I did watch, the Hogwarts Legacy video that you did was really interesting. It's kind of like a non-biased look at the situation. And then your Atomic Heart review is also very good. So, and I know I know you also appear on a few podcasts. So, I mean, not that I need to tell people what you do. What do you tell people what you do? I guess is
Well, I mean, Corey, you basically just said it. So, I do a bunch of things. So I was on a This Week in Gaming podcast up until end of January, and I left that to kind of jumpstart my own solo venture. So that will be it'll be a gaming news podcast again that will launch at the end of March. But until then, yeah, I do like a bunch of podcasts. I recently started a YouTube channel at the end of December, so I've been slowly kind of getting into content creation and making that. Aside from like the gaming angle of things, like I do a movie podcast on Mondays with a bunch of guys that I have a lot of love for. I appear on another podcast, 8750 on Spotify. I mean, it was supposed to be a one-time thing and then turned into a permanent thing. So there's that. And then I just kind of...
that sounds familiar.
I pop around. So I'm like, you were mentioning that you have been recording a lot for the coming week, and I understand that completely because I'm literally on 4 to 5 podcasts a week. So
Yeah.
Whoa. And you
Yeah.
work full time?
I do, yes.
Oh.
It's I
So I'm
mean, it's a you do it for the love of the
It's a
content, you know?
commitment.
Yeah.
you know what it's yes, I sometimes feel like I'm a little bit drained, but I have met so many people since I started podcasting and YouTubing and all that stuff, and I genuinely have fun on all the
Mhm.
podcasts I go on. So to me it never feels like it's a waste of time at all, because even if I don't talk to those guys as much anymore or don't revisit their show or anything, it's just like it was time well spent because I had a good time.
Mhm.
So that's how I've always looked at it.
Yeah. It's we do a lot of podcasts like that around here, and like we actually had to cut back because of scheduling and stuff.
Mhm.
I was talking to somebody today because we used to do an Xbox podcast and a kind of like a retro nostalgia podcast, and I think out of all the things that we've kind of either put on hiatus or canceled, those are the two that I miss the most for some reason. Um, and I don't know, someday when we're rich and famous and this is all we do for our lives, maybe we'll get back to that. Um, but yeah, I mean, between Boss Rush podcast, After Dark, all the Boss Rush present stuff, the two Nintendo shows we do, the interviews that Celeste does, like I mean, I understand the the grind and the commitment.
Mhm.
So
Exactly. Yeah. So that's why I'm trying to like I'm using like March to kind of be like, okay, I'm just gonna like I'm gonna do this, but then April it's like, okay, I really need to slow down because it's starting to it takes a lot of time. That's all. Time out
mhm,
of other things that I genuinely keep as more of a priority, but it's just like I just keep putting on the back burner. So yeah.
mhm.
But yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, it's a lot. I think we actually cut this show down in half, like in terms of recording time, because of all the other stuff that we were doing. Just because, like, between editing it and then all the other shows that we do, like, it just, the show was cut in half, and it's still 75 to 90 minutes long. So
There you go. And I think that's what a lot of people don't factor in when they jump into this is like
mhm,
outside of the actual content that you plan to make, like it's basically like working a second job when
mhm,
it
Yes.
comes to editing, to scripting. Then if you want to like podcast with other people, then there's all the content, like the contact you got to do, the marketing that you got to do on all the social media to make sure people are actually seeing your content. So
mhm.
it's like a second job essentially.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
it
I'm
is.
I'm always I'm always slipping on like the marketing part. Like that's the part that always kills me.
You are. It's no excuse, LeRon. Step it up.
As soon as I found
By the
out that you could schedule tweets on Twitter, that solves so
Yeah.
many problems
yeah,
for me.
I I use I use Buffer to schedule my tweets out. It's like a third party platform, and like you can hook
Gotcha.
up I mean, for free, you can hook up 3 social media accounts and do 10 posts per account at a time. And so
Wow.
that's what I do. I don't even like I very rarely check Twitter anymore. I check it
Mhm.
maybe like because I know in terms of scheduling people, I DM with people because I try to email when I can, but if I can't find the email, I DM them because it's
Gotcha.
there and faster and easier. And sometimes they DM me back. Sometimes like especially like somebody like me who's a dude and you DM a female, sometimes they like are like, well, who's this creep, and then just ignore you or block you even
I
before they
mean,
even
Corey
read
is
the
a creep.
message. And I'm like, ah,
You are a
just
creep though.
I know I'm very creepy. Ooh. um
I
It's all
guarantee you
about how
one of your
you word
I
it.
guarantee you one of your ex-girlfriends agrees with me on that. I guarantee you.
I mean, sure, why not? Sure.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm usually not this mean to Corey. I'm sorry.
This is an after dark topic, Laron. This is the wrong show to be talking about that on.
There's
By
the
the way,
Oh,
title of
it
your
is
After Dark
is
now. Corey is a creep.
mm, creepy. No, it's
by the
just
way,
creepy in
is
all
the dress
caps.
code more appropriate now?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
What else do I have to
Uh,
do? Do I need to cut a
oh,
slit down this thing?
okay. Oh, geez. Okay. LeRon's just having a good time now. People are noticing him. His head's blowing up. Forgot to zoom out soon.
I promise. I'll keep it together.
Sure.
Or will I?
So yeah, I mean, if so, you do a lot of podcasts. You say,
Mhm.
do you want to shout them out real quick, just so people that listen to us can find them?
Sure. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I am on 8750, which you can find exclusively on Spotify. That's pre-recorded and then uploaded. So I'm usually there at least once a week, generally. We've been reviewing The Last of Us, HBO's The Last of Us, since episode 1. Sorry. So we just did our last review this week, and it was went up yesterday actually on Spotify. Mondays I am on Mischief Mayhem Movie, where basically we just kind of like pick a movie and we just have fun reviewing it. It's less of a review and just four of us dicking around in all honesty for like 2 to 3 hours. So that's over on Cannoli Sasquatch Productions. That's the YouTube channel. I also do a monthly podcast with his wife, which we call the Truly Female Perspective. And that's usually the first Friday of every month. I'm also here and there on another channel called Roman of the Empire. He's just an awesome nerd. That's really all he is. So he does a mix of comic book stuff, TV and movie, and like he does like action figure reviews as well. And then I just appear on other podcasts that want me on. In all honesty, if it works with my schedule.
Very cool. And
Like this one.
I love your coordination of the pink and the mint green, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
If you're
It's just my
watching the
bedroom.
video.
That's all it happens to be.
I love it though.
And then I was doing This Week in Gaming up until the end of January, and that was on Sundays before. So when my new gaming podcast launches, that'll just be, I won't bother streaming because it cuts down the editing hassle a lot, not having to worry about video. So that will just be like exclusively on like the major platforms like Spotify, Google, Apple, all of that. And it will just be like a monthly overview of just all of the hottest gaming news. That's basically what I was doing before, but instead of weekly, it's every 2 weeks.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We have a couple questions for you. Celeste, do you want to start with your question while I pull up the other ones? Because
Absolutely.
I didn't update the doc, so I have to go search for them. I'm a terrible host.
Vex Electronica, that is a badass name. And
thank you.
If you're willing to unlock the secret or share the secret, what inspired that name?
It's just my gamer tag.
Oh, nice. Okay. I love it though. It sounds like a badass female protagonist of a video game.
I like trance and like electronic music, and then I was just like, I was reading a novel, and I remember that one of the last words on a page I'd read that day was like vexed, and I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool word. So I just put them together, and then all social media, if you see the tag Vex Electronica, you know it's me.
That is cool. I love that word.
I thought you're going to be a huge Destiny fan because one of the enemy races in Destiny are called the Vex, and
that is what a lot of people thought when that game did first come out. And there's even a Vex clan that I would like occasionally play with here and there when I did still play Destiny. But no, just a massive coincidence.
Nice. I love it.
It's okay, you can stay.
Corey's a big Destiny person.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I've noticed by the dedicated Destiny podcast.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
I knew Destiny was big, but I didn't know it was. Yeah, after I saw that you had a dedicated podcast to it, I started looking into it, and there's entire just fan pages, there's entire websites, and there's stuff dedicated to the daily drops and everything. I was like,
yeah,
wow, Destiny really did blow up.
Yeah, if I wasn't doing all the boss rush stuff, I would definitely probably exclusively be doing Destiny stuff.
Really?
Yeah, I actually just got one of my lore books today. Hold on. It's show and tell time.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I understand that Destiny has a lot of lore. I've never played it.
Mm-hmm.
Have either of you played Destiny?
I played Destiny
Uh,
1 on launch and I bought a lot of the DLCs and everything, and then it just got stale for me, so I stopped bothering with it. And when they announced Destiny 2, I was like, I don't really see a point. But I did play some of it when they added it onto Game Pass temporarily. And then I hit like a bug where it just wouldn't let me progress at all. Like I can't remember which DLC it was for, but I had to get like all 4 of these armor pieces in order to progress to, I guess, a boss fight. And no matter how many times I tried to reload it or redo it, it just wouldn't let me progress any further. So I gave up.
What about you, LeRon?
I messed with Destiny 1 as well, like at the very beginning, but I just was not in the headspace for it, and like I'm slowly like drifting my way into like the Destiny 2 space, because I did f around and spend like $80 buying like on that big Steam sale they had, and buying all that Destiny 2 content. You know, it was like
Attaboy.
because according to Corey and Josh and Andre from my co-host from the Crossroads show, that was like one of the best deals that you can get for like all that content and stuff like that. So I threw down on that, and it hasn't been installed yet, but it's there. We're just waiting for me to start it up.
It's a start. You bought
Like
it.
Monster Hunter, just when it comes to games like that, where it's like massive time drops, like Monster Hunter usually takes up all my time.
True gamer. I bought the game and never played it. All right, so I'm gonna show you all my nerdy Destiny books. Okay.
Okay.
So this is the graphic novel that came out probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago at this point. It came out when Destiny 2 launched.
Okay.
And then they're releasing all of their lore books, like the entire backstory of Destiny, and like just deep dives on the different races and the characters and stuff. So this is one book. Okay. And this is the one
It's
I
an
got
omnibus.
today.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's like, it's got all this cool art in it and stuff. And yeah, this is the 5th one. And so this is my Destiny reading. So
Wow.
I also have
At least you're reading. There's the good thing.
Yeah, I also have 5 of the 8 statues that are out right now, and both art books. So
It's your favorite series, isn't it?
It is. It is. I've kind of come to terms with that over the last year of like, I can't say that Destiny is like my favorite game of all time, but I think maybe Destiny might be my favorite game of all time.
What would be the second?
All,
what would be the second
all of
one?
the extra stuff begs to differ.
I know. Look, if I wasn't married and had 2 kids and trying to buy a house this year, I would have spent like $250 on the headset and the mouse pad that came out with Lightfall because they're super awesome. But I would get in so much trouble, so I didn't.
That's me with Devil May Cry. I would totally have a bunch of Devil May Cry statues if it weren't for the fact that I had actual bills to pay.
Did you see the new one that just came out? Or that's coming out?
I saw there's a new Dante statue that came out recently that I've just I keep dropping not even dropping hints. I keep telling my husband, "Hey, this would be a really great anniversary gift." Wink, wink.
Just throwing that out there, guys.
So Corey, what would be your runner-up game then? I'm sorry, Vex.
No, you're good. You're good.
I mean, Zelda. I mean, probably. I mean, Zelda. I would argue would be my number one usually, but all this Destiny stuff. Although I do have a Hylian shield downstairs in a box that's waiting to be hung up. So what do I know? Who's to say? Who's to say? So at least I didn't say Kingdom Hearts. Although I do like Kingdom Hearts, and LeRon makes fun of me.
I would have liked Kingdom Hearts a little bit better. I'm not a Zelda fan at all, in all honesty.
Oh no.
Sorry.
Celeste works for another Zelda podcast. Oh no.
Listen, I don't exclusively hate on anything. I never got into it. Like I had it on my Game Boy when I was a kid. I tried it then, and I had some friends that had it on the GameCube. Was it the GameCube? One of the older Nintendos. I just couldn't get into it. It's just not my cup of tea. That's all.
That's okay.
That's
There's
fair.
so many games out there.
There you go.
So many games.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't.
It's okay to
believe
be
in
wrong.
Well, I don't believe in forcing people to like stuff that I like. Like sometimes because
Thank you.
I've been
Say it again louder for those that in the
What?
back. They couldn't hear
well
you.
I've
You're
been on
not
the
a true
receiving.
internet connoisseur, Celeste.
Well, I've been on the receiving end of things like that. So, something that makes me very uncomfortable and will actually turn me off from something is if someone forces it down my throat. Even if I had even the slightest interest in it, like I've had friends who were obsessed with Harry Potter, Star Wars, just different things. And if I've said, "Oh, I've
Those
never,"
friends being Corey Durick, right?
no,
Those friends, because all that
like
stuff you just mentioned, that's him.
It's me.
no, just a few
I
of
told
them.
you we're like best friends. We're BFFs.
Yes, we
forever.
are. We are
Long distance BFFs.
So like in high school when yes, this is true, in high school, if I told people who were into those things, oh, I've never seen that, if we were supposed to do something else when I went to their house, suddenly it was,
You're
oh
doing
no,
the other thing.
I'm gonna force you to watch these things. And it's not like I would never say, oh right, I'm gonna force you, Vex, to sit here and watch me play Ocarina of Time. That wouldn't be enjoyable
totally in
for
the
you.
same boat as you. Yeah,
You and I would
it's
not be
actually
friends if you ever forced me to watch you play Ocarina of Time. You and I will not be friends.
And LeRon likes to be forced to do things. We've established that.
This is the wrong show to say that, man.
I know. I'm just messing around. Oh, good times. I'm in trouble.
Do we have more questions for Vex?
Celeste giving me the mom eyes. Like,
do we have more questions for Vex? She's the most important person on the episode.
I know we do, and I got distracted. So, hold on 1 second. Yes, Deshaun writes in. He says, "I need to know what y'all do when you create characters in games." This isn't really for you. This is for everybody, I guess. Do y'all take your time or play as the opposite sex? Y'all good. I like Deshaun. He's a nice young man.
Yeah. I've been begging that dude to come on the Crossroads. Just even if he just wants to be on for like 20 minutes.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you something off air. I don't know if it's appropriate to tell on a podcast, but
Don't.
Yeah, and don't do it.
Don't divulge his business like that.
No, we only divulge our own business. So I guess I'll start. I guess I actually really take my time usually, and I always play as a woman if possible. For some reason,
Really?
Yes. Why?
Is it because
I don't know.
The look. I mean, women. I've had this conversation with friends before, like female friends. I'm heterosexual, but the female form is a very attractive form. I mean, it's just appealing. It's just nice.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It doesn't do anything for me, but it's just. I mean, it's like, oh, this is pleasant.
It's visually pleasing.
Yes, it's visually pleasing. It's aesthetically pleasing. It doesn't do anything for me, in a after dark sort of way, but I appreciate it.
Man, maybe we should have recorded After Dark first. This is
right.
That's why I'm being very coy with how I phrase things.
So
So I was wondering if maybe that was why you liked playing as.
Yeah, I don't really know why I started doing that. The first game I really noticed me doing that was Mass Effect, actually. I just don't really know why. I just always did that. Like I did that with Hogwarts Legacy. I've done it with other games. My Destiny character is a female. I just do. I don't know. Maybe I had some traumatic experience that I just
there's nothing wrong with that. It's always interesting.
Yeah,
to
traumatic
me.
experience that made you decide to start gender bending. Okay.
Hey, I do what I do. But I don't know. Maybe it's because I find a female voice more comforting. I don't know. Maybe I just am a weird person. I don't know.
There's nothing
Well,
weird.
one thing I can attest to is using Mass Effect as an example. Using the female dialogue goes a lot harder than the male dialogue goes.
True. And it I mean, I was like, how old was I when Mass Effect came out? Like 18, 19, 20. When did Mass Effect come out? 2007?
Mass Effect came out in 2007, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so I wasn't
2005, 2006, 2007. Yeah.
Yeah, so I wasn't like a horny teenager or anything. It was just like, oh yeah, lesbians in a video game, like probably most people are like that sometimes. But like, I don't know.
I've asked guys that question too because I've played with a lot of guys that prefer making a female character no matter what, and they're just like, oh,
I don't know.
So
I used to.
in all
Good,
fairness,
good.
No. In all fairness, it's a common thing, and you don't have to,
explain yourself for it.
Yeah, there we go. Or have things have happened to you.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
No, I don't know. I kind of feel like in a sense that I'm weird like that. Like I like to like, I mean, with guys you can only have so many hairstyles or like whatever. And I'm like, I want cool hair. I want some sort of cool outfit. I want some sort of, and then I'm just like, oh well, I'm just playing dress up at this point. Maybe that says something else about me, and it's fine. No
I'm glad
worries.
you mentioned that because I'm glad you mentioned that because like one thing that's always like kind of irked me, and this is not me wanting to cross dress or anything. Let me just go ahead and preface that right now. Is like it's always like wild like how many different styles of like clothes that women have, and all men have is shirts, pants, and jackets.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
You mean you didn't get into the what was the male version of the skirt called, the Mert phase?
No.
Remember like the late 2000s
that phase?
The late 2000s when like there was a couple times I saw it where like Ashton Kutcher was like wearing one, and like who else was wearing one? Someone else was wearing one.
If you're just gonna do that, just wear a damn kilt. Like that's what I would gladly wear a kilt.
But then you'll offend the Scottish people, LeRon.
I probably would, but you know what? Guess what? I have very athletic calves, so you know what? I'll rock that shit.
Prove it.
I think the skirt is coming back for men though, because I've was it Harry Styles? He's been wearing dresses and stuff a lot, even though I think he's a straight male. I don't know.
Yeah. Like I believe he hasn't like come out with any alternative pronouns or anything, but I don't know how I feel about him sometimes.
Yeah.
He's just weird to me. That's all he is.
Yeah, he is weird.
Yeah.
He is weird. I'm like, and why weren't you weird when you're in one direction? Why is it you broke off and now you're this? It's like it's kind of a shock for me.
Yeah. You know what it is? It's the boy bands have to have a specific image. I don't know if you've seen that documentary on, was it BTS? I think it was, right? It was one of the Korean bands. But it's like when they're signed on and they form and everything, there's like a very strict I guess like appearance and persona that they're supposed to have in order to keep, selling tickets and selling records and selling merch and everything. And it's the same reason why Disney stars go off the fucking deep end as well as soon as they leave Disney. It's because there's no longer someone like nitpicking at everything you do to ensure that you're crossing off things on a checklist. So
we all saw what happened to Miley and Britney. So
there you go. And Lindsay.
Yeah. Man. She's pregnant, by the way. Did you see that?
Yeah, I know. I'm glad the cocaine didn't fuck her up permanently.
Yeah. Oh, man. Good times. It's not mine, but I'm sure it was a good time. What about you guys? What do you guys do when you create characters? Do you give them voices? If they don't have one?
I do play around with the voice, with the vocalizer. I do play around with that.
Yeah, I do too if it's an option. Usually I will just like make a female that is a hotter version of me. And then if there's an option with the fantasy ones, I'll make sure they have purple skin. That's about it.
That's usually what I do. I just want a hotter version of me, and yeah, that's all you can do. I'm exactly. Like, I look in the mirror and I'm like, I'm ugly. Let's make someone who's partway.
Exactly. Let's take me from a 5 to a 10 in a video game. That's all I need.
If you want to be a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/bossrushmedia and find out which tier is right for you. Our Patreon producers at the $5 tier or higher for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. Thank you for your continued support.
I used to be one of those people that would create female characters or always choose the female character if it was there. But I got into trouble a long time ago because I would also in online environments, I would just act like I'm a girl, in real life and stuff like that, and when I'm actually a guy in real life and almost accidentally had someone like fly from California to Virginia, they were that ready, and I was like, and the sad part is like I wasn't being friendly, I wasn't even being flirty or anything, I was just being friendly, but I was just in the mode, I'm into this, I like this, but the problem is like we were too alike because like we were like Dragon Ball and anime and all sci-fi stuff, and he's sitting here over in California like, man, I found the one.
Hold on. I feel like there's a whole bunch of things that had to happen from a guy seeing your female character to him wanting to fly halfway across the country for you.
Okay, all right. So I'm just gonna lay it out. So
early internet.
Okay, and this is early internet. Yeah, this is back in 2004, the first Monster Hunter game. Me and my roommate, we played Monster Hunter, and we both because like I was naturally picking female characters. That was back when I was still doing that thing. I don't do it even half as much anymore now. So we both, and just because we lived together, we were like, you know what? We're playing as female characters. Everybody keeps assuming we're females. So we'll just play the role and everything, right? And so like we wound up squatting up with some people and stuff like that, and we just rolled with the persona and stuff like that. And because we're roommates, we're like, okay, we're also sisters and all this stuff, right? So we were just playing games, talking, and just being mindful that like they think that we're a girl, so we should be kind of girlish, and stuff like that. It was no big deal. And like I said, like I was never never trying to lead anybody on or have them thinking this or that or whatever. And yeah, so just being friendly, like last episode of Dragon Ball was amazing, or whatever pop culture thing was going on, stuff like that. And like one time, like it was just me and the guy, and we were playing online because nobody else could get online and stuff like that. So we're just in the lobby, just like chatting and stuff. And all of a sudden, like the questions he started asking were getting more, like really personal, to the point where I was like, man, I can't even keep up with all the lies anymore. So. And just eventually it got to a point where like I did not get on for a few days, and so my roommate was on, and then my roommate said like, hey man, like he's been looking for you, like what's going on, what'd you do, what'd you say to him and stuff. Like I'm like, I didn't say a thing to him, but he obviously wants to say some things to me.
Oh man!
So it got it got awkward. I hate to think that I hurt somebody's feelings because like I was being not genuine, stuff like that. And that was when I stopped playing as female characters after that incident.
Don't let it.
That's fucked up, dude. You went from I just wanted to play as a female to I'm going to pretend to be a female to I'm going to pretend to be females with my roommates and catfish a dude on Monster Hunter.
Okay, so I did not catfish anybody. I did not catfish anybody. I can't help it because my skills are so good and everything, right? So it was like the gaming trifecta. Like a good video gamer, into manga and anime, and all that other nerdy shit. And he was like, yeah, I can make this work.
The process, catfishing,
dude. Let's face it.
Catfishing is the process of luring someone into a relationship by means of a fictional online persona.
I wasn't trying to have a relationship. Though. That's the problem.
Well, you said you were acting like a girl.
What?
We're picking on you. We're picking on you.
I see.
Welcome to the show, Vex. I feel like you're really glad you had shown up.
Man, no, I'm gonna be up half the night thinking about this now.
Well, don't let this one incident prevent you from playing as a female character.
No, LeRon logs into that game as the character, and that guy is just logged in too, and he's the only one left playing the game. And he's like, "Hey,
baby, where you been?
Hey, stranger."
It would be so funny. It would be so funny because like Monster Hunter servers have been down. The original Monster Hunter game servers have been down for like over a decade now. It would be so funny if I logged on to one of like the makeshift servers that like the fans have like brought back and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and find that dude.
That's funny.
Yeah. So honestly, that incident right there like gave me so like if the game only has a female character option, of course like I got to roll with it and stuff like that. But I got out of the habit of making unless I'm making an alternate character, like for example, like I haven't done this in a while in Monster Hunter, but there was a time when like I got to such a high level and stuff that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make a Smurf account and then I make that a female. But usually that Smurf account, I never take that Smurf account online. Usually.
You learned your lesson, LeRon. I'm proud of you.
I did.
One last note. I also like the last 2 games I played. I let my daughter create my character. So my character in Disney Dreamlight Valley is literally my daughter running around with like a princess gown and a
that's
wizard
pretty
hat.
precious, though.
That is adorable.
She loves it. She hated it at first because I didn't have anything unlocked. Because all she wanted to do was run around with Anna and Elsa and the 20 other characters that are in the game, and I didn't have any of them unlocked because we just started, and that's not how it works.
Also, in my defense, like in Monster Hunter, like the female armors look so much better than the male armors. Except I cannot.
That's what I
get
noticed
down
in
to
Destiny. Destiny had better female clothing drops than the male characters did.
Yeah.
It's,
I the only thing I couldn't get down with in Monster Hunter are the ones that look like actual dresses. I don't wear those. So I guess that'd be my tomboy quality right there.
Okay.
Destiny actually has gotten away from the gender specific armor. It all pretty much looks the same now.
Why? Why'd they do
that? Because they are very adamant about being like gender agnostic and super inclusive to everybody. And they think that turns people off.
I get that. I get that, but like for people who like me who like to be fashion hunters and stuff in Monster Hunter, like shit. I mean, like if a female has some badass looking armor, it's probably going to sway me to want to play the female version of that character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the character creator in Destiny still sucks. Sorry, Destiny, but your character creator is terrible. I'm all about a good character creator. By the way, where's Character Creator Simulator at? Where's that game? There's a simulator for everything else.
You mean The Sims?
No, not The Sims.
She got you.
I don't want to play the game.
Right. That is The Sims.
I do have to say, Monster Hunter World's character creator is like one of the best character creators I've ever seen. So is Mass Effect Andromeda's is pretty good too.
Yeah, Mass Effect Andromeda's was nice.
Yeah.
After the patch.
Yeah. So. All right. Well, I have one more question. I have to pull it up. Sam Hall writes in. He asks, what drew you to creating content on the internet when the internet is so flush of content?
Okay, so when the virus happened, I was not working for 4 months because we shut down completely. So I was like, hey, I'm already playing games just on a regular basis. I'm just going to try doing it on Twitch. So I was Twitch streaming for about a year. And then I just did not like the interface. I didn't like a lot of the people I was coming across. So I left that, and also work was picking back up. So it's just like I didn't have the time. And about a year after that, because I kept in touch with some of the people that I had met there. So one of them, like in the small group that I did keep in touch with, they were like, hey, like this leader of the stream team that we were in, he just got like exposed like really hard. I'm like, oh. So there was a lot of drama that got flushed up over that. And one of those guys invited me on to like, I just be like a spotlight person on the podcast he had. And then we got into a really good conversation there. And he was like, hey, like I've been thinking about making a podcast. Would you want to be my host? And I was like, sure. So first it was just like us just like having conversations for a few months. And then the conversation started to drift more and more towards gaming. And then we're like, hey, let's just turn this into a gaming news podcast, and that's how it happened. I'd also just wanted to try YouTube in general, like for a while, and I was just finally literally like, fuck it. I didn't think about it. I literally just made a video and posted it on New Year's Eve. That's it.
Hmm.
And then it took off kind of on its own from there, because I got a Twitter and I started using Twitter a lot more. And that's how I found all of these other creators that I collaborate with, just through Twitter. So that's part of the reason. And then the other reason I kept with it is, especially when it comes to gaming news, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but a lot of the major outlets like Game Informer or Wired or IGN, there seems to be a pretty significant drop in the quality of the reviews, in the sense that now there is a very specific bias to a lot of the stuff they put out there. Which,
I know IGN. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I know IGN.
oh no, you're good.
Really outsources a lot of their reviews now, because their team has left, or they have their small core team of people and they outsource a lot of stuff. Like Tim the Tie Guy, who is the host of the Iron Lords podcast, did the Destiny review. But he also runs that website and also did the review there. And so, that only comes to mind because he got ripped to shreds for that review.
Really? Why?
Because, like, I'm not 100% sure why. I think just the internet is angry, but he also gave it a 6 out of 10, which is, in my opinion, low for that, even though Lightfall, the campaign itself was not as good as the Witch Queen. I think the surrounding content is a lot better for a first season in the year. And I think a lot of people just think that he rated it a little low, especially with the expansions that came before the Witch Queen. I think Lightfall is much better than those ones. So, but yeah, he got shredded on that, especially because, like, the Iron Lords podcast, like, the Iron Lords are known for their Destiny podcast, The Last Word.
Yeah.
And we're actually trying to do some sort of content with them at some point. But I'm just waiting on like everything. I'm just waiting on responses from people. That's what makes me so, like, anxious, is like, I just want a response, because, like, if I don't respond to somebody right away, I get really anxious, and then I know I'll forget, so I just respond right away. But,
dude, I do the same thing. Even if it's a no, I'll just grace you with at least a no. So because I pick up exactly on what you're putting down right now. It's like, what if they're, like, fretting over it, or if they're worrying about it? So I might as well just dignify them with some sort of answer, and then we can both forget about it.
Yeah. And so, I think we're going to do a Tower Casserol's Cross Last Word episode at some point in April when things die down.
Nice.
But yeah, it's just, like, they're so known for that, like, that Iron Lords. That's literally a faction in Destiny. Like, that's where they were founded. It was, like, their Destiny stuff, and the fact that they are so hardcore and they graded this, review so low was, like, really surprising to a lot of people. And I think that's just what you get when you outsource something. But also, like, I think it's two sides of the same coin, though, right? It's like, you want somebody who knows the game. Like, you don't want somebody who's obsessed with Mario to go play Destiny for 20 hours and try to, review it, right? Because they don't know what's going on. Because the way Destiny is structured now, it's like a serialized thing. Like, if every week there's a new mission that progresses the story, and after the season or after the year is over, that content goes away and you just progress. And I mean, that's side tangent. That's a big problem with Destiny right now, is onboarding new players or lapsed players, but it's a conversation for a different day. And so, yeah, it's just, I don't think these outlets are what they used to be, really. Even Game Informer, I really used to love Game Informer, and I actually still watch some of their old content on their YouTube channel. We're actually trying to schedule Andrew Reiner for this show at some point in the near future. He's at Gearbox now. He wanted to wait for some announcements from Gearbox before he came on. But yeah, I mean, I just feel like ever since that kind of the old guard has left these places and they just are outsourcing or hiring people for pennies on the dollar. I don't know if you saw what IGN was paying for news stories.
No.
Like for outsourced news story, it was like what, $20 per news story to
Jeez.
outsource
That's
it.
nothing.
I know,
Jeez.
especially when like the people who were doing reviews for them back in like the early 2000s were saying they were getting $700 and $800 per like review and like $400 and $500 per like story they were putting up because it's just like, man, I don't know. And I think that's why people go to people gravitate towards these micro communities, you know, and because they care, not that the big outlets don't care, but it just feels like people kind of care more, you know. I don't know.
Well, it's like it's if you're outsourcing for that kind of thing, it's also a matter of like you don't really care as long as the content comes up on your website at the end of the day. You've got a
Quality of
name,
it.
you want to keep it at the top. So, and that explains how IGN is literally like the first on like 20 different topics on their website, right?
Yeah.
But it shows that they don't care. They just want the clicks at the end of the day. But yeah, I didn't like the bias and this drop in quality that was coming across in a lot of the gaming community, and even like YouTubers that got really big off of gaming. You can see there's even like they just don't care anymore. So I just wanted to kind of bring back that honest take on like gaming news. And that's what I tried to do with This Week in Gaming. And that's what I'll be doing on my new podcast, is just give things as they are, no fluff, no bias, so you can like make your own opinion. Like this whole Activision Blizzard thing is like a perfect example. Is it's usually like Sony fanboys saying this and then Xbox fanboys saying that, but it's just no one's really taking every side of this and giving you all the information so you can come to your own decision.
Yeah.
So
Plus,
that was like the big reason that I kind of kept going with it.
yeah. Plus, at the end of the day, it's like it's just billionaires screaming at each other because they want more toys to play with at the end of the day.
Exactly.
I've not worked in the game industry, but at a previous company that's related to the tech industry, we had to write blogs, and we were taken over by a European sector of marketing, trying to market to American consumers. And we were an American company, and it just didn't. I mean, I felt bad for them, but it was almost like they saw strategies that they were reading about online and not really using critical thinking. And they're like, oh, it doesn't really matter if people are reading our blogs. It just matters if they're on the page. And a lot of us were pushing back. Like, look, I get it. You're reading some thought piece on LinkedIn, or you're studying SEO and you think you understand American marketing. I don't mean to sound rude, but a lot of our salespeople were begging us, please, can you write something specific about our product? Can you please, it's okay if this reaches only 5 people. These are the 5 people we want and who are interested in our product. We're not for everybody, which is true.
Exactly.
But
yeah.
I understand SEO is important, but it was all about that. And we were writing blogs that almost had nothing to do with what we were putting out. And that did not sit well with me.
And that's the problem I have too, is like I understand that SEO means a lot, but if you want to put out quality as well, if you actually want word to spread about whatever you're selling or whatever you're talking about. So even when I put out all of my game reviews, like I put them on Substack now, like I don't care if it gets like 2 or 3 clicks. I know that I've put out exactly what I want an audience to look at. It's going to be relevant. It's not going to be clickbaity, and you'll get just an honest take of things. So that's why like as I'll look into SEOs for like how to push my YouTube videos out a little bit more, but it's like at the end of the day it's the content that will, it's how all these YouTubers get big. It's not clickbait or anything. The people that actually watch your content will stick around long term if it's quality.
Yes, and
so
people aren't stupid. They
exactly.
can tell. They can smell fluff.
Exactly.
That part.
100%.
And you know where I work too, like Celeste said, like that's what we're trying. Like I work for an IT content creation company. That's what my job is, and we try to kind of explain to the companies that we work with, like sometimes they wonder why their numbers aren't high, in terms of, whatever. And we're like, look, your specialty is edge computing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just using that as an example because that's what we're really
Mhm.
pushing right now at work. Not like that is a kind of like a newer technology that is being explored in the space or re-explored or however you want to say it. Like there's only a few companies in the world that are exploring this space, which means the audience for this is even smaller. So like any numbers you get are going to be great numbers, and we
Yeah.
try to push that aspect instead of numbers. Not that like the numbers are bad by any stretch. I would kill for our stuff to get numbers like the numbers that we get at work, but like, some of these companies like, like Intel, a multi-billion-dollar company, like expects big numbers all the time across the board, and it's like, well,
Yeah.
this subsection of Intel is doing this small project and we're doing a small project for the small project. Like your numbers aren't going to be like, you're not going to get tens of thousands of views on this, right? It's just like,
No.
Yeah.
it's not what that's not, so
You got to kind of be reasonable with this stuff and like realistic with what your
yeah.
expectation is as well, right? So
Yes.
yeah, I notice this a lot in like even just some of the other YouTubers and podcasters that I've like collaborated with or chatted with. It's all about the numbers and not so much how can I improve my content so that I can keep and maintain and grow those numbers instead,
It's
right?
a race to the
It's just
bottom.
exactly. Like you really got to just start from the bottom and just like I have the constant mindset with everything I put out there that I can do better. So even if I thought like my Atomic Heart review was great, I look through it, I'm just like I could have fixed this. I could have said this instead. I could have tweaked this. I could have done this when I was editing. So I'm always looking for the next edge because that's ultimately all that matters, right? Just put out quality and people will come.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
And I mean, there are ways that you can marry SEO and popular topics with your niche market. There are strategies for that, but this whole we're not worried, we just want people to come to our site. If I'm on a site and I'm confused and I don't understand what the message is, I'm leaving that site.
You're leaving. Yeah.
You got me
Yeah.
there, but I'm not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So it's like, what was the point of getting all those clicks if I'm not sticking around?
Yeah, if you're
Right?
not
It's
closing the
empty
deal.
numbers.
Exactly. It's
Yeah,
fair.
I've always been like I'd rather like organically grow, not just like fluff it and and like let it explode and then like see like the trickle down that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
If I'm trickling down, I want to trickle down because like I'm just not putting out good content. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be like boom, like a million followers, a million subs or whatever, and then all of a sudden I wake up one day and it's like 40,000. It's like, what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Plus you got to realize
Because also
certain.
you don't.
Oh, go ahead,
I
LeRon.
was just gonna just to finish that off. I was just gonna say also you don't grow from that. You don't because you don't realize where you made your mistakes at.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like a lot of people don't even bother looking for those mistakes because again, I find a lot of people are just like, I'm right already. I got this many views, so that means I'm okay. I don't have to innovate. I don't have to change. I'm good. And then they wonder like, oh, why aren't my videos hitting the algorithm? Why isn't anyone seeing my tweets? It's
Yeah.
so yeah, everything I've done
Even
worse,
worse, why is
organically.
everybody saying it sucks? Even worse, why is everybody saying it sucks? Because like they didn't take the time to understand their audience, and they didn't take the time to understand their own content.
There you go.
Yeah.
Don't get me started. But Corey, we did have some more questions. I don't know if you noticed.
On where, in the Discord or on Twitter?
On
or?
Twitter, actually.
Twitter. So Subtle Deviancy asks, can the Scarlet Vexer confirm or deny that her window is being a portal to the supernatural? I feel like this is some sort of inside joke for.
Yes, shout out to subtle deviancy. So this window I have behind me is just it's always in the background when I'm podcasting, and it's an inside joke on basically every podcast I'm on that it's probably there's someone out there watching me right now because I live in the middle of nowhere. So no, it's not a portal to another dimension. I'm pretty sure.
That's hilarious. That's very specific. That is a very much an inside joke.
Yeah.
Yes.
We do have a question of substance. Did you read Christian's? I don't think you read Christian's question.
Oh no, man! How did I miss all these questions? Oh, it's been a
Because
busy
I've
day. I'm
got
sorry.
you.
Thanks, Celeste. What would I do without you?
I don't know.
I'd love to hear about your guest process for podcast production, from planning to release and promotion of an episode.
This is our friend Christian from the Franchise Festival podcast.
Yeah.
All right.
Also a patron. Thank you for your patronage.
Christian.
Oh, nice. So I just like make. Okay, so I made a whole new email just to track all of my podcast stuff. So what I do is I have like a master doc where I just jot down video ideas or podcasting ideas. And then for the videos, I'll pick if one of those really hits home, and it's usually a hot topic, because I also tried to play with whatever is popular on Twitter or on YouTube. I'll take that and I will start with the script right away. So the script usually will take me about, over the course of the week, I'll work on it. So it goes from just, point form notes to like a full actual script by the end of the week. Then I usually just record that and then clip everything together with like as it goes, and I tweak it, right? Inside the scripting, I have like my little notes on like, here's a clip I want to put here, or a picture I want to put here, or this is what I want to cut to here, kind of deal. And then I just put it together and publish it. For podcasting, it works a little bit differently. Like for the podcast that I just co-host with, there's a host that takes charge of that. But like for like my movie podcast on Mondays, I put together all the research for like the fun trivia, the casting stuff, the budget, and like the gross income and all that stuff. And I just put that in a doc. For my own, like the gaming podcast, though, that's something I build up over the week. So I find the links that I think will be like any gaming news that comes my way, I'll save it. And then once it's like the day before the podcast when we're supposed to go live, I'll filter through and just be like, here's news that no one's really going to care about, and just stick to the big things and put a rough script together for that. Cause we did the full scripting at one point, and it was just like, this sounds really fucking boring. People enjoy listening to people just have an honest and organic conversation. It's okay if there's some pointers to get you to a certain point, but I just didn't like how it was. It felt too mechanical and robotic. So now when I launch my new podcast, though, it'll be a little more, because I'm no longer using the video format and I won't have a co-host anymore. It'll just be me. That will be more of a strict script for that. And then, yeah, usually I just, for videos, I play with whatever works with my viewerships, because YouTube has all those analytics for you. So I'll usually try and post it through a hot time for when my viewers are on. And then I will post stuff on Twitter based on when the hot times are on all of the websites. I don't use Instagram or Facebook or anything. I try to stay away from the Facebook related apps, in all honesty. So Twitter is my main kind of like advertising source right now, and of course showing up on other people's podcasts. So I will just like schedule a tweet usually between 8 and 9 a.m. in the morning, because I get the best viewership and engagement at that time. And then Substack, I'm still trying to learn how to hit the sweet spot with Substack, but I'll usually just like post the Substack links in like the afternoon, because I get moderate engagement there, just to boost the written part. Yeah.
Cool.
You're so thorough. I'm
that's
just
more
like,
of a process than we do.
Oh my gosh, that's like,
yeah, no, I'm I'm a little, I'm overproductive, I guess. I don't know how you want to put it, but
no, you're efficient.
I'm just, whenever I make content, like even if it's I'm dead set on making the best content I can with the tools I have at the time. And again, like it's always improving on what I did before, right? So my goal is like, I don't want to just put out a bunch of content out there that's just for the sake of having content. No, like if I'm doing this, I'm going to put out the best that I can and just learn and grow from that.
Excellent.
that was like the big goal for me this year, was to get everything organized, because we've been doing things so just like sporadic kind of for the last couple of years or so, that I went through at the beginning of the year and just made docs for everything. Like, here's our episode list. Here's when they go out on Patreon. Here's when they go out on free feeds. Here's our bonus content. And like, I made docs, like production docs, and I don't know. It was a lot of work that I went through and did because I was tired of being unorganized. So,
Mm-hmm.
I
No, I
wanted to
just
cry
I
afterwards.
know when I want to put stuff out, so I make sure to adequately organize my time to ensure that I get it out by then. So like Tuesday to Thursday, I usually don't do much of anything because like I'm like those are my peak days at work. But like Monday, was it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, those are more where I'm able to adequately dedicate a little bit more time. So it's just I can be very efficient when I want to be. That's it.
While maintaining your sanity.
Yes.
What
Yeah.
exactly? I mean, it kind of helps that already. Like, I work in an area where I'm always like mentally on my toes already, so it's transferring a lot of skills that I already have from there into this to keep me on track for things and organized.
That's excellent. You're going to take over the world, and I'm looking forward to it. Your name already is badass, so we need to bow down now
Thank
to
you.
our overlord,
Just
Vex
don't lock me in a
Electronica.
dungeon. Just don't lock me in a dungeon somewhere. It's fine. Everything's fine. All right. Well, thank you for all of the all answering all the questions, and man, I can't believe we're already like an hour into this. Let's talk about what we've been playing. Vex, you're our guest. Why don't we go your way first? What are you playing?
So despite putting out an Rush review, I have not fully finished Atomic Rush just because I did not have time to fully finish it.
That's fair.
Um, but like I'm still playing my way through it. I've got this week off because it's March break. So I've just been I'm taking a gaming break. I don't know if you guys experience like lulls every now and then, but I'm experiencing a bit of a lull.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Yeah.
taking a bit of a break. I'll come back to it, but the next game on my docket is Romance Sylvania.
Oh my gosh, Stephanie's playing that right now.
Oh boy, Stephanie's playing that.
I bought it. It's installed. I'll probably start it tomorrow. But no, I've been following that creator page, like the publisher's page on Twitter for a while, and I'm pretty excited for that. So that's the next game on my docket.
That's cool. Yeah, Stephanie was trying to talk about it yesterday, and she couldn't stop. Was it yesterday or was it last week that she was talking about it?
It was last week. It was last week.
Yeah, it was yeah, that game sounds interesting to say the least. Yeah.
Everything about it looks great, and I'm not one for like the dating simulator games. But I
Yeah.
played Boyfriend Dungeon last year, and I absolutely fell in love with it.
Oh,
Oh
Ed
my
loves that
goodness,
game
I
too.
fell in love with that game, and I saw this, and I was like, I'll
Yep.
spend $30 on that. Sure, no problem.
Why not? Celeste, what are you doing with your life?
I've been trying to play games a little bit more as I can. I'm very much looking forward to Tears of the Kingdom. And today, the day that we are recording this podcast, a few hours before we started recording, I pre-ordered Tears of the Kingdom at my GameStop. So,
All right.
yeah, I usually sometimes I pre-order Zelda games. Sometimes I just pick them up. But Timmy, my boyfriend, was saying, maybe just not to risk it. Maybe pre-order it and you get a freebie with it. It just looks like a wooden slate or something.
Mhm.
But I recently finished Valhalla, which Coffee Talk is inspired by. It's that bartending cyberpunk game, that kind of like a visual novel. Have y'all played it?
No, I
I've heard of
haven't.
it though.
It's very good. If you like that electronica kind of music, which I think Vex would enjoy, it's about, I don't know, it's about like 6 to 10 hours long. You mix drinks. It's a little bit more mature themed than Coffee Talk, and the storyline's great, the dialogue's great. You have to be okay with not so much action? Like, are you okay with reading a lot, mixing drinks?
Pentiment was one of my favorite games last year, and that was basically all reading. So like, yeah, I'm totally on board with that.
It's good. It's relaxing too. It's something. It's nice to play at the end of the day. You just want to wind down. And I had started this game a few months ago, put it down. I maybe got it like an hour in, and I just restarted it this week. Kentucky Route Zero, because it is on Game Pass, and I
heard very good things about that.
I believe this is the last month it's on Game Pass. So
yeah,
I'm gonna try to play it some more this weekend. But I'm on Chapter 2 or Act 2. I don't even know how to describe it. It's you can walk around, but again, it's a lot of reading, a little bit of action. I don't know if it picks up later, but I believe if you live in Kentucky or you're familiar with Kentucky, it actually reflects some real roads in Kentucky.
Okay.
So
I like the narrative games, to be honest. I'm okay taking a break from, like, I don't have to have like bam bam action in every game. If you can give me just a good story, that's really all I need. That's really all I need to enjoy a game.
And Timmy and I also played a few rounds of games on Clubhouse Games. It's still going strong, everybody. Clubhouse Games is still going strong on the Switch.
Can't believe it.
Yes, his favorite is billiards, and mine is hit and blow or something, which sounds way more suggestive than I intended it to be. It's one of those you use deductive reasoning to figure out which pieces are left based on color and patterns, and I don't know. It has card games on there too. It has card games. It has. Have you heard of it?
The name registers, but I didn't know it was for the Switch.
Yeah, it's like 51 games. Like you can play solitaire, you can play blackjack, you can play checkers, you can play chess, Uno. All these games you can play You can play them by yourself. You can play them with a friend or up to 3 extra friends. It's fun. I don't know. It's just
friends. You have 3 friends. I don't.
I'm never coming back on this podcast.
This guy. This guy.
Never coming back.
He's all knives out tonight, eh?
You know what? I'm going to send you a questionable gift from a questionable website so you can explain it to your wife. How about that?
No, because it'll have your name on it, and then she'll just ask me why you're sending it to me. She'll be like, "You could move your ass down there," and I'll be like, "It is warmer, probably." I'm like, I'm not sure how Timmy would take that, but
I'd be like, why is Corey at our door without telling us?
Yeah. I'd get there and I'd just be too afraid to knock, so I'd just sleep on your porch or your yard.
And you don't think we have a door cam, like a camera bell, a bell camera or whatever, a doorbell camera, bell camera.
Well, good. It makes it even weirder then. No, you become the weird one. You're the one watching me sleep now. That's weird.
How did we get on this topic? Oh, because he said I have no friends. That's what happened. Anyway, what are y'all playing? LeRon. Let's go with LeRon because I'm mad at Corey.
Back on a Dead Space train. New game plus, y'all. Yeah. I had to because I want to really get in and see this alternate ending for the game that the developers it's original content at this point. So but there's some things you have to do, like you have to start collecting like marker statues, which is like a unitology thing for the game for the uninitiated. So that's what I'm doing right now. Just being more and more traumatized on the Ishimura. And I'm also just giving the GBA retro gaming, its love right now on the Switch. Because Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, which that game is so fun. Like, it's such a simplistic RPG. I feel like it's pure Nintendo, and I enjoy it. And I'm also playing Metroid Fusion because I'm a big Metroid fan, and just having access to more Metroid games is always a thing. As well as Metroid Fusion, and why am I forgetting what the other game was? Why am I forgetting?
I don't know. There's only 6 games on the Game Boy Advance one.
Yeah. And I'm dabbling with the Minish Cap. The Minish Cap is not quite holding my attention like I thought it would, because I did play it originally on the Game Boy Advance. I'm pretty sure I just got to stick with it, and I'll find the magic in it. But right now it's not doing it for me yet. And it's because Zelda games Zelda games, like, either it gets you right in the very beginning, or you have to get a couple of stages deep into it. Like Link's Awakening kind of had that problem where like you're into it right at the very beginning, and then like kind of in the middle, it kind of like peters out for a moment, and then towards the end, it picks back up.
Mm-hmm.
And I guarantee you, the Zelda fans are just going to be all up in my DMs tonight. Like, how dare he talk bad about
forgive you,
classic
LeRon.
Zelda games? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I forgive you. Do you want to know my hot take? I have a Zelda hot take that will.
What's your Zelda hot take?
I am not that interested in playing the original Zelda game.
Nobody is.
The original Legend of Zelda.
I'm not really that interested in playing.
I can't go back to it either, honestly. But if they remake it, or remaster it, remake or remaster, actually remake, because I've seen some of the fan done remasters and they're nice, but still not enough to get me to play it.
I would play the original Zelda if it looked like Link's Awakening on Switch.
Yes.
Yeah, I would too.
But also, I don't think anybody wants to play any Zelda on the NES anymore, unless you like absolutely played it when you were, a youngster, right? And like absolutely loved it then. No, you don't need to start with Link to the Past. You're fine.
And this isn't to poo on that. I understand those games were absolutely revolutionary.
You're pooing on it. It's fine.
At the time they came out, just because I don't want to play it doesn't mean they're bad or there's something wrong with them. They just don't appeal to me.
No, Zelda 2 is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Did you say Zelda 2 is perfect?
No, I said Zelda 2 is pretty bad.
Oh, some people love that one too.
I know they're wrong, but it's fine. They've never played any other good video game ever.
Oh my god.
That's a hot take right there.
Yeah, that's a hot take.
Look, man, all I'm saying.
What are you playing, Corey? Are you playing Zelda 2? Is that why you're bringing this
certainly
up?
am not playing Zelda 2. I'm playing Disney Dreamlight Valley. Shocker. Game's amazing.
That's a shocker.
This game's so good. But I've been grinding away at Hogwarts Legacy to finish it by book club tomorrow. The story is like it's cool, but like I'm not there for the story. I'm just there to shoot wizards with dumb spells and fly on brooms and hippogriffs and do dumb stuff. I'm not that. I don't
be
care
a wizard, Harry.
Yeah,
basically.
You're a hairy wizard.
Like was it like 2000 or 99? Whenever the book first came out, I was on the phone with one of my friends, a landline, a cordless phone.
Ooh,
cordless phone.
How old are you?
She was
Grandma?
34.
Oh.
Thank you. And she was like, "Oh, I need you to write down this book. It's called Harry Potter." And I remember spelling it like Hairy, because I thought she was talking about a Harry Potter.
Man,
what's a Potter? Hold on.
Like, wait, is it like a person who's making pots and they're very hairy?
That's what I thought too. Like, I remember hearing like Potterhead for the first time. I was like, "What? What are we talking about?"
That is.
Oh yeah. That was an inside joke for a while too. If you didn't, yeah.
Really?
Pothead.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Potterhead,
okay.
yeah.
I see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm. That's not magic coming out of that wand. It's actually smoke.
Does the dragon go puff as well in Hogwarts Legacy?
Mm. Yeah, actually, he makes you go puff in the beginning. It sounds like a different game we're playing. So I've been playing that. I actually started playing Link's Awakening again because I realized I was so close to the end and I just stopped playing. And I've decided that I think so. I played a ton of it when we went on vacation last summer, and I got to the 7th dungeon, and then I just stopped playing. And I think it's because a new season of Destiny. Yeah, because the new season of Destiny started, and it was all pirate themed, and I got excited for a mediocre at best season of Destiny.
Wait, were you at the whale? Were you at the egg?
No.
Oh, because I just picked it up a few weeks ago as well, and I was at the very last dungeon and beat it. So
I'm going. That'll be my game I play next week because there's no there's no book club for a while. I actually am trying to figure out man, I don't play spooky games, but our next book club game is Resident Evil 4 remake, and
Oh,
Ooh.
wow.
I
Are you a Resident Evil person?
so I love Resident Evil 1 remake on GameCube,
Hmm?
but that's the only Resident Evil game I've ever played. Like
Oh, you are
seriously,
in
like,
for a ride.
Oh yeah, you're in for a
but
ride. Yep.
the thing is like I like the lore of Resident Evil. Like I keep up on the lore,
Mhm.
and like I will watch Let's Plays of Resident Evil. I've never gone out of my way to play it. Although late last year they were all on sale, and I own every single Resident Evil game now because I told myself I'm going to play them. The only one I don't own is Village because I'm sure it's going to be like $20 in a couple months.
Oh,
Yeah, eventually.
It's going to be on sale.
So, plus like if I'm going to play them in order, I'm not going to buy 8 when it's $40 or $60. You know, that's a goal of mine is to play them all. So, but yeah, so I am preparing myself with some light and fluffy games before I go in and like, you know, want to
I have
Scare
to
yourself
know.
shitless.
Yes, yes. Do you have a phobia of chainsaws or people chasing you with chainsaws?
So we actually had this discussion on After Dark at one point where like on like fears that are just, I think it was an episode that Jesse was on when we were talking about things that we are irrationally scared of. And the two things I'm scared of the most are lawnmowers and chainsaws.
Oh, well, at least one of those things is in Resident Evil.
Well,
Why lawnmowers? Out of curiosity.
because man, there's a fast spinning blade on the bottom of it. What if it shoots out and like cuts your legs off or
So
something?
okay, hold on. By that logic, then, are you afraid of your razor?
No, because I'm not spinning my razor.
But what about electric razors?
I don't use an electric razor.
Okay.
I use a 5-blade
So,
Gillette.
are you scared of the
razor.
blender?
Yeah. Anything that has a fast moving blade, no.
But
pass.
you're not putting your hand in the blender.
No, but it's still scary. What if you drop something in there and then
Stop
you're
it!
just,
Stop it!
You know,
Stop.
just
Stop,
saying.
stop.
I'm just saying. Look, okay, so the side tangent. One of my favorite shows of all time is Mad Men, and I will watch every single episode of that show again, except for the episode where the guy gets his foot cut off by a lawnmower. So
It's like 30 seconds, dude.
I know, but
I can't.
it's gross.
I didn't know that.
I mean, they don't really show
Mad Men.
anything, really, kind of, but not really. But they do show the blood splatter all over the wall and all over everybody.
They do, and it splatters on the
Yeah.
ladies in the office as well. Yeah.
Oh man, Mad Men, so
Okay,
good. Don
so
Draper.
you're afraid of fast-moving blades. So were you terrified watching the movie Blade?
I don't know if I've ever seen. I don't know if I've ever seen Blade. To be honest with you, I've
You've not seen the Wesley Snipes vampire movie.
Oh come on,
You've
that's
seen
not
that one.
That's not the
I've
worst
not
thing
seen
I've.
it either.
That's not the worst thing I've ever not seen. Let's be
I
honest
think
here,
that
though.
I barely know you, and that's already the worst
Oh,
thing that you've ever done.
Lord.
Mm.
Oh Lord!
I haven't.
We have 4 other podcasts dedicated to like the fact that Corey has not seen like certain movies or certain TV shows. Like it's
Yeah.
oh, and let's not even talk about heard certain music.
Okay,
Yeah.
if there's anything you should watch, make sure you watch Blade 1 and 2. Fuck the third movie. But watch those
Yeah,
at
the third
least
movie was
before.
ass.
Yeah,
I
watch
like-
those 2 at least before the Marvel one comes out in like 2-3 years. At the very least before then.
Yeah, maybe. I like Wesley Snipes. I like what's the one he did with Sylvester Stallone? What's that movie? Demolition Man.
Yeah, Demolition Man. I was thinking Lawnmower Man.
I've never seen Demolition Man.
I mean, it's not like a Academy Award winning movie or anything, but you know,
I've seen
It's
like
fun.
12
Yeah, it's
movies.
not. It's not. It's just tongue in cheek fun sci-fi movie.
it's just you know.
But yeah, I guess be aware though, because there's a fast spinning blade.
I mean, I can deal with it in like a comically hilarious fashion. I just like there's a difference between something like Blade and that happening and something like Mad Men and that happening. You know, like it's
Okay.
To me,
I'm
there's
just
a
poking
difference.
fun. That's really
I
all
know.
I'm doing.
I know, but like at
I
my fear.
I do get squeamish.
Mhm.
Oh, good.
my fear is actually of like the real life object as opposed to like one that I see on TV. Although like the stuff I see on TV is like, I'm glad it's not real. You know,
They're getting more realistic with shit these
I know.
days. So
I know. That's why I had kids. So all we do is watch Disney cartoons, and then I'm okay. It was really just to escape my irrational fears of scary things. Anyways, and I've also been playing Super Mario 3D World because I'm also on the last two levels of that game in the last world, and I also stopped playing that.
You and I have the same problem. We
Yeah.
get super far into games and don't come back to beat them. You and I have the same problem.
It's like I have 2 levels left, and I have all I have to do is get the green coins in those levels, and I'm done, right? But it's 2 extremely difficult levels, and I just like I don't know if I want to play this right now. But I've gone back, and I've done some of the easier levels to try to get my Mario skills back up. But yeah, cool. So that's what I've been playing. Do we want to hit a topic real quick? We don't have time for both, I don't think, but we can hit one. I guess I didn't watch
Let's
Last
not
of Us.
talk
Do you guys
about.
you don't want to talk
I
about
was
The
gonna
Last
say
of Us?
let's not talk about Microsoft Activision. Let's not talk about them.
Oh, why not?
okay.
You haven't talked about that enough yet?
Well, Vex kind of laid it down like earlier when with her mentioning like like nobody has all the the complete narrative. So like why the fuck are we bitching and moaning about it? Honestly, I like just watching like the two companies have like this little slap fight. I do.
Jim Ryan.
Is he though? I think Jim is doing a pretty stand up job, like like defending like Sony's honor.
Sony's honor?
I'm just saying, whatever it is, just whatever it is. I just like
I hope Microsoft wins just because.
This is what I'm talking about, though. Look at this.
Microsoft is going to win.
I know. That's why I don't know why they're wasting their money and time.
Well, here's the thing. We don't want them meddling so much to the fact that this deal falls flat because then like like Tencent will come along and say, hey, we'll throw the money at you, and then no one's gonna even look at them seriously. There's gonna be like, okay, well, we'll take the money.
Yeah, I mean that's the scary thing, right? Is like if Microsoft doesn't buy them, some giant like either Embracer Group or
some non-American company. Yeah.
I mean, and not
likely
that like
Tencent, in all honesty.
Yeah. I mean, they're already so invested in every other, or like the Saudi government, right? Like they're heavily invested in games as well, and they're like very scary people. The government, not the actual people. So like, I don't know. I would rather Microsoft buy them than someone else. I don't really know how that would work. I don't know if like Activision would be treated as a Microsoft property or just as a subsidiary of Microsoft, right? But like, I don't know. I feel like also like I feel like this is going to go through, and Sony's just wasting their time and money with that they could be using that money on other things besides years of of lawyers and fees and whatever else. Plus, like some of the things they're arguing, they've already done themselves. I mean, they bought Bungie for what, $6 billion. I mean,
$7 billion.
Yeah, I mean, not that that's like anywhere close to 68 billion, but it's.
I mean, even then, they don't own Bungie. Like Bungie still has a lot of independency. There we go.
Yeah, well, Sony owns Bungie, but they're not a PlayStation studio. Is like the thing. So they maintain a lot of their independence and they get to use Sony's resources. But because they're very clearly expanding into multimedia projects. Like they hired a bunch of writers and developers that did the League of Legends show on Netflix, Arcane, right? They hired a lot of those people. They hired a lot of animators who did that show specifically. They opened a couple new publishers. They opened a publishing arm in Europe, which is really close to PlayStation's European arm. So Bungie's kind of like really expanding a lot. And also, right, I mean, Bungie is also creating 2 multiplayer specific games. So, and also Sony wants to use Bungie's resources on multiplayer stuff, on matchmaking and technology and everything that they've developed for Destiny and Halo over the years. So they actually got. I actually think Bungie was probably worth more to them than $7 or $8 billion, right? Just based on the technology.
Financially, yes. Financially, yes. There's a long-term goal there. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but realistically, like, I don't know, for somebody who is who primarily plays on Xbox. Not that I'm a huge Xbox fan in the way that like Xbox fans should be Xbox fans. Like, I like Halo, but I'm not in love with Halo. I just like the platform. I like the services they offer. I like Game Pass. I like their online infrastructure. I think their store's easier to navigate. Stuff like that. But the one thing Microsoft needs, and there can be an argument to be made here too, is like they need games, and they need kid-friendly games. They need games that appeal to a mass audience, and they need games that people care about, which right now Microsoft really doesn't have a lot, which is why they bought Bethesda in the first place, right? Because obviously Bethesda has a lot of games people care about.
I don't know. Xbox has kind of become the developer or publisher of indies for me. That's their selling edge now. Because let's face it, when it comes to things like Call of Duty, it doesn't matter what console you're on. You can play it on any console.
Yeah.
So if most of the people buying a console, because here's the other thing that I think people are not factoring into the equation. At the end of the day, most of the people that pick a PlayStation or an Xbox are not playing the PlayStation and Xbox exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing things like FIFA, like Call of Duty, like Destiny that you can play on any platform.
Right.
So factor that in. I don't think it doesn't make financial sense for Microsoft to make Call of Duty exclusive. That's just stupid. There's a lot of money lost if you do that.
Yeah. I mean,
and on top of it,
if they may, just to go back to that point real quick before you move on.
Yeah.
Phil Spencer came out and said as much, like they would lose so much money if they made Xbox or if they made Call of Duty exclusive, because if you put it on Game Pass, you're not making enough money to make up for development costs. And the way that Activision churns out Call of Duty every year, or now seemingly every other year now, right? Because I think the thing is we're going to put out a mainline title every other year and a Warzone pack every other year. And so he came out and said it would be financially irresponsible for us to make it exclusive.
Well, the fact that he had to come out and say that and nobody put 2 and fucking 2 together blows my mind, first of all.
Yeah.
From day one.
What the problem is though is like they're doing they're doing stuff that kind of breaks precedent, because like, you know, like for example, like Redfall, Starfield, and all these other games were like basically going to be multi-platform before like the acquisition happened. And as soon as the acquisition happened, you know, like all of a sudden these games were no longer available, and you actually had sects of the gaming community that were kind of upset because like, hey, like I was actually planning on getting this for my console, and now I can't get it because like I don't have the competitor console, or I don't have a top end PC that's going to play the games properly and stuff like that. So like, you know, like I feel like that was actually a real fear that, you know, like Sony and Jim Ryan, you know, like were able to cash in and monopolize on when they started making their pleas to the you know, to the FTC and the European commissions and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a real thing. It's a real thing because I plan. Well, if I have a nice ass gaming PC, so but I was planning on I wanted to play Redfall, so you know, like if I didn't have a nice ass PC, I would have to play it on that thing if it was still coming to that thing.
So I feel like this is a piece of information that a lot of people forget. It even said when they acquired Bethesda that or ZeniMax Studios, I should say, because it was the whole thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It says in the decision and everything that existing IPs would stay multi-platform, and any new and in development IPs could be chosen by the purchaser to become exclusive or not. So that's why you still have the only one I disagree on, which doesn't make sense to me, is Elder Scrolls 6. I don't
Well,
know why they decided to go back on that one.
well, they said legacy IP, which means like Elder Scrolls Online, Fallout 76, and then update versions of the games that are already there. I
There
listened
we
to
go. So
I listened to an interview with Phil Spencer on Xbox On, which is owned by Xbox, but it's just like a promotional thing. But he came out and said, like, when we said that, we chose our words carefully there because we didn't want people to think that, if they develop a new Doom, it would be multi-platform automatically. But also he did say that it would be a case by case basis and they would do what made sense for the IP. Now, I think you do something like Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6 exclusively because it's going to draw people to your console. I don't think Doom, though it's great, right? I don't think that's a system seller for anybody,
no, it isn't. No.
because I think a lot of
But
people
yeah,
that
no, it even says in the legal filing, like
Mhm.
outside of what Phil Spencer says, because even Philly Spence has his moments, right? But it even says in the legal filing, the wording is right there. It's just nobody
Mhm.
chooses to read that, I feel. And then they article after article comes out and then people believe this over that, right? So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they
Okay,
they
well,
they choose their
I'll be
words.
the first to admit. I'll be the first to admit I didn't read all the legal essay. I did not.
that's okay.
Shocker.
Most people don't.
Yeah. No.
And that's why you have all these fanboys arguing with each other on the internet because people
Mhm.
just read a headline.
I don't fucking care because, like, at the end of the day, I still have ways to play Xbox games. If they
Yeah.
wind up not being on PlayStation, I still have ways to play Xbox games. So it doesn't fucking
Yeah.
There you
matter to
go.
me, Like
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be a champion for like the shit that's right though. And like right now, like the optics do not look like it's going to go in like everybody's favor.
Hey, you're looking at a person who played Doom and Wolfenstein 2 on the Switch. Okay, so whatever.
It's
I run
kind of
into-
weird flex, but okay.
No, I'm just saying, like, there's ways to play those games that, it's weird. Look, never mind. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
leave it there.
you don't need to explain that one. It explains itself. But no, I read through all of those stuff because I was doing the podcast, right? And it's just like there's no way that what these people are all saying is accurate to what's actually in there. So
Mhm.
that's all.
Yeah. Well, they just. I mean, 99% of the people that pay attention to this stuff are just gonna yell and scream because they're fans of the platform and they just want the console wars to exist and win and blah. And I'm just like, man, just let it go. Just let it go.
And what about poor Nintendo in this console war?
Don't worry,
Where are they?
Call of Duty's coming to Nintendo in the next 10 years, guys. So
You want me to get started on this? Do you want me to get started on this?
No, I don't.
Celeste and
It's
Corey
okay.
know, Celeste and Corey know, I will get up on like a high ass soapbox just to punch Nintendo in the nose.
That's very true. Very true. Look, as much as I love my Switch,
Yes,
there are
let's move.
very specific games that I do not recommend. So Nintendo games and indie games work great. Other games, yeah. So even some Nintendo games. I mean, look at Pokemon. That game is a mess. Still a mess. So
The Scarlet and Violet that just came out.
yeah, did you see the newest patch is wiping saves?
I did see that in a headline. Yeah.
That's
I don't own a Switch, so I don't really follow the development stuff as much for that. So.
One of those people exist? I didn't even know that was a thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe I should save this for after dark, but
Oh, no.
there's a very specific reason why I don't have a Switch and I don't want to offend any of your potential listeners.
Oh, okay.
That HD Rumble is very powerful. We had to get rid of it. On that note, I think we're gonna wrap it up.
All right.
I want to thank Vex. Thank you for joining us tonight. This was super fun. I'm
pleasure.
glad. Sometimes when you have guests, you don't know, especially people you don't know. You're like,
oh, trust me, I know. There's a lot of people out there that will show up on like podcasts and stuff, and they're just like,
yeah.
Dude, what the fuck do I do with this? You're giving me nothing to work with. This is tame me, if anything. I'm a little quiet tonight.
Thank you though for taking the time to come on and hang out with us. It was really cool. You want to tell everybody where they can find you again, just so they can find you and your content and stuff?
You can find me on Twitter at Vex Electronica, and you can find me on YouTube at it's either Vex Electronica or Vex_Electronica. But I mean,
It's one of those.
You'll notice if there's a bunch of gaming videos there.
Links.
And you'll be able to find me on Spotify and stuff like that. March 27th, my gaming podcast, The Split Screen, launches officially
Nice.
that day.
Split Screen.
That's a cool name. That's a cool name.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, links to your stuff will be in our show notes as well. So, yeah, it's just a click away, everybody. Celeste, thank you for your time tonight. Also, I know your time is precious, especially at this hour.
Yeah, I'm in Central Time, but they tease me that I'm secretly 80 years old because I go to bed before 10 usually.
Yeah. I mean, if I had to be up in the morning, I would also be in bed by now, to be fair, so I don't even blame you there.
See, Vex is just better and better the more she talks. Thank you. Thank you. So I thank you for letting me embrace my grandma ways.
It's what we do. We don't discriminate here.
I like Werther's Original.
I do too, in all honesty. And I like those hard yogurt fruit candy things too.
Cream savers.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah.
Okay.
And I bake cookies on the weekend.
Oh no. Okay.
Me too.
This episode's going to be previewed in nursing homes coming soon.
And I bring them to my neighbors.
I actually did do that last summer. Actually, I baked a bunch of muffins and I gave it to all my neighbors.
Oh no. I can't even
We're going to be at the same old folks home somewhere.
I can't even. LeRon, help.
I'm done.
I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening to this episode of the Boss Rush Podcast. You can follow us at Boss Rush Network, at Boss Rush Podcast. You can also find all of our content on bossrush.net. Thank you, Vex. Thank you, Celeste. Thank you, LeRon, for your time. And thank everybody for watching and or listening. Until next time, we love you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
The Boss Rush Podcast is a product of Boss Rush Media, LLC, and is recorded from our headquarters in Akron, Ohio. This show is produced, written, and directed by me, Corey Deering. My co-hosts are Stephanie Klimov, LeRon Dawkins, and Edward Varnell. You can find Stephanie at Klimov_author on Twitter and Instagram, as well as on the EXPcast. You can find LeRon at Exodus803 on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube, and also on Crossroads, the video game podcast. You can find Edward at ThatRetroCode on Twitter and Instagram, as well as hosting Nintendo Powwow. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at IamCoreyInHD, and find me hosting Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast, and co-hosting Nintendo Powwow. Find the Boss Rush Podcast on all social media platforms at Boss Rush Podcast. You can also follow Boss Rush Media and Boss Rush Network on all major social media platforms. Join the Boss Rush Network Discord and Facebook groups to interact with other friends and fans. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.